GM. It is February 23rd, 2025, Sunday, the last day of the week. Let's see what the crypto market has in store. Because it is a Sunday and the last day of the week, we are going to take a look at the weekly charts first. Got about 12 hours left in this last candle of the chart here. So far, we are pretty much flat on the week. We are, pretty much flat. Negative 0.05%. A little bit of a wick up, a little bit of a wick down. The bands are wide and bullish. The ribbon is also bullish. Our market structure, however, is bearish after we had this break here. Straightest line ever back in December. But instead of leading to a down move, that has pretty much ended the up move, and we're in a consolidation period. We've just moved sideways since then. Tag in the top, tag in the bottom, and continuing to go sideways, held up by the bands. Doesn't look bad. Consolidation's needed after this run we had. So let's go down to the daily chart. See what the daily chart's telling us. We are stuck in between our boxes here. That's our range. You got the green on the top, the red on the bottom. Our line in the sand marked here with this market structure low that we have here. And there's nothing but free air and inefficiency underneath it. We do have the 200 period moving average coming up. That is worst case scenario. Our daily market structure is bullish, although we are chopping side to side here. Daily bands are bearish. Tried to break above them. Could not. Back down we go. Held down by our descending trend line. So our line to break for the bulls is to reclaim this trend line right here. And then we can start moving up to this market structure level right here. It comes off of this big important candle that we set here. We do keep following the higher lows so far. Held up by the 100 period moving average as it's acted as support as we're coming up. So as of right now, like overall I'm bullish, but in the interim, midterm, it's just sideways. We have some important levels on the options market for the expiration that happens on Friday the 28th. Those are at 100K and 95K. So I expect those levels to get defended until then, because that's where the big players are set up in between. Going down to the 4-hour chart, see what's happening here. More of the same. We were coming down, bounce, and then the volatility dies off. Now the bands keep flipping bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Our market structure is bearish between this level and this level, but our interim structure is also bearish between here and here. Ribbon is also bearish with the red above the yellow above the green. So on the 4-hour, we're still bearish overall, held down by our trend line. Let's see what the next couple days have in store. As of right now, we're sideways. Taking a look at ETH here on the weekly. Weekly on the ETH, we have bullish structure. We have bearish bands. And we are trying to fight with our all-important 2800 level here. We're almost right at that level now. See if we can reclaim it. Have some resistance above in the form of the bands. It's a good place to target if you're looking to trade. But until we break this 2800 level with some authority, that's our only chance to start going higher. We shall see what we got in store. Go down to the daily. Similar to Bitcoin, where we came down and now we're chopping sideways. Our daily market structure has broken with yesterday's candle. That moves us up just a little bit. That put us, go like this. Our market structure is now here. We're gonna go daily market structure. There's our daily market structure level right there. We don't really have a break of structure level, as that has to be set with a small pullback first. And we haven't hit it. Not yet. So daily bands are bearish, fighting with them. The daily ribbon is neutral. Looks like it's about to start flipping bearish. We have some important levels as marked with the boxes above. Got 3 important ones right now. Maybe another important one up here. A lot of resistance above. The first target is to break over the... Oh, what did I just do? First target is to break over the 2800 level. Then we got to contend with the trend line. ETH has some work to do. Take a look at the 4-hour here on ETH. 4-hour market structure is bearish. The interim structure is bullish. And the bands are bullish and the ribbon is bearish. But the bands are chopping back and forth. Bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Until a trend takes over, like here, then the bands are not as important of a guide. Again, even here you can see 2800 level. We're below it, and it's having problems breaking it. However, even ignoring this big wick down here, we have a higher low, 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 we have a higher low. And it looks like it's primed to take a shot at breaking that 2800 level with some authority. Now, we're going to go back and let's take a look at ETH versus Bitcoin on the weekly. More of the same. Nothing but down. Nothing really to say here. Below the bands, they're bearish. The ribbon's bearish. The structure's bearish. Long term, don't own ETH versus Bitcoin. Look at it on the daily. With today's candle going on, it very well may confirm this market structure as bullish. It currently is bullish. We got another 12 hours on this candle, 11 and a half hours. So that'll do nothing but move the market structure up just a little bit. Trying to turn these bands back to bullish, but that doesn't mean we go up. That can also mean that we just start chopping the bands. The important thing is higher lows. If ETH can keep building higher lows versus Bitcoin, then maybe we have a chance to actually start making a run to our important level, which will be right there. Take that. Turn it into blue. And we'll call it a daily area of interest. Right there. That'd be our first target if you're looking to own Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. But again, remember the weekly is terrible looking, so nothing I'd like to hold long term, but it could be worth a trade. Go to Solana. Solana, the market structure is bearish. You see our area of interest here, this mark right at that candle close there. That's another straight line. Good thing I've got the blue line to correct my terrible drawing. We are held up by our trend line that's been respected so far and still is being respected. Our weekly market, or weekly bands rather, look like they're trying to flip. There's got to be a move soon if this is to keep those from flipping bearish. Not really looking good, although we are at some support. We've got the 50 period weekly moving average, which holds, and we're here again. Is it going to hold along with this trend line and this structure level? Does look like a good spot for Solana to find a bounce. Now, on the daily, our market structure on the daily is... Did that break? Look at that. That did break. That comes down to there. Nope, there we go. There's our daily market structure. It is bearish. The bands are bearish and wide. And here you can see this yellow trend line that I have drawn. We are kind of in an area of a lot of support and a lot of resistance. So for the bulls here on the daily, you can see it's got to reclaim a bunch of levels that have acted as support and resistance in the past, such as this red box right here. Got this trend line. It's got the bands. There's a lot going on here. It is a really, really busy area. So we have to reclaim this yellow trend line. We have to reclaim this red trend line, which is more really of a 4-hour trend line. Take that. Make that so you can't see it on the daily. It's not as important on the daily. There you go. Now, the bands have to flip. They're wide. I don't expect price to go like this through them. So from here, some sideways consolidation looks more like what will happen as these bands start to flatten out and possibly come up to more bullish. We can reclaim here. Making higher lows is what we need for Solana. Now, the way this is setting up doesn't look like it's ready to happen quite yet. Look at this right in here. The similar situation here. We're below the bands. The bands are wide. Tries to break above them. Nope. Second push finally does it. Then we have our run. From where we are now, that's about here. So it looks like we got another couple weeks of sideways action anyway, at least for Solana. That's if the bulls can do their thing. For all we know, it may find some resistance there and start to break down. Hopefully not if you're a Solana bull. 4-hour on the Solana. Yeah, it's held down by the bands. So even the 4-hour has to start flip these bands back to bullish. The market structure is bearish on the 4-hour. The ribbon is bearish. Higher low needs to form. That's what needs to happen. Line in the sand is down here at 165. Take a look at Solana versus Bitcoin. On the weekly chart here, weekly market structure is bearish. The bands are bearish. Our line in the sand is here at this market structure level. Right there. We do have the 200 period moving average, which is acting as support. That is the weekly 200 period, which is strong. But we are breaking out of this sideways channel that we've been in, sideways range. So I'm not saying that Solana can't bounce back up, because it can, versus Bitcoin. But as of right now, it doesn't really look too good. That's the first step for the bulls versus Bitcoin, is to reclaim that level. And then we have a chance to make a run higher. Daily chart is going to show breaking down. So far, this is nothing more than a bear flag. And we're far away from the bands. They are wide. They're approaching the bottom of that channel, which has acted as support. So now that we're below it, it's also going to act as resistance. It doesn't really look too good here versus on Solana versus Bitcoin, especially when you look at Solana here and all the messiness that has to get through. The fact that on the daily It has to come up to these wide bands. It does look like a period of sideways action is needed, which some sideways action, unless Bitcoin tanks and Solana goes sideways, which would cause this chart to actually go up, even though Solana's not going up, it would be because Solana's outperforming because it's not going down like Bitcoin. Solana doesn't really look like that attractive of a proposition right now. Not yet, anyway. And that's it. GM. Overall analysis. Looking for more sideways action. I don't really see this. That's not really what we want. If you look at what happens when we go bottom to top fast, we bleed back down. That's generally what happens, unless it is a full-on breakout. On the breakout, you like to see that big impulse take us away. From the bottom to the top, you don't want to see that big impulse. What is better is this. Up, down, up, down, up, down. A nice slow grind through this range, making higher highs and higher lows the whole way. That primes us for a breakout. So from that, what we can hope for is higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, as price can start to make and build its way through this range before we can have a nice impulsive candle breakout. That's kind of what we want, right? We have this range, and then if we can form a consolidation up here in the top of this range, that's some strength for a breakout right there. But seeing as that's what would be the best and the strongest, it's got some work to do. I don't really see a break of all-time high and hold and a run at least for some time yet. Maybe a month. You know, I'm not putting a time frame on this, but if the bulls are to have some action, it's going to take a little bit of time to build up some momentum first. All right, GM.